Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, class. Hope all of you are and your family members are safe at your home. As we all know that due to the situation of this pandemic, we all have to stay at our home and we are not able to getting outside of our home and getting the education through the physical learning process for which we are habitual to. But the technology and the management of school is very supportive in this manner, and that's why today we are learning through the online lectures, through the YouTube channel or through these video lectures. I am Vaibhav Shah. I am going to study about the subject OC, and today we are going to discuss about the principles of management, in which this will be our lecture number 4th. In previous 3 lectures, first of all, let us take a very short glimpse of the course that we have covered yesterday. In last 3 lectures, we have discussed about the meaning and concept of principles of management, the natures of principle of management, the importance that where these principles of management are useful, and lastly we have discussed about the different thoughts of management principles, that is classical thought, in which some of the authors, thinkers or management gurus have contributed in the classical thought, and then neoclassical thought, and lastly we have discussed about the modern thoughts of management. So principles of management is not a rigid rules and regulations, but it is a one kind of belief and moral responsibility that is taking care or that is achieved or that is adopted by different managers in different situations. Till the day we have discussed about the general principles of management, that what is principles of management, nature of principles of management, importance, and how they are evolved. During the different time periods, they are evolved due to the change in the industrial structure and due to the industrial revolution in Indian economy. Some of the principles of management and their thoughts are also occurred in different countries, and they are fruitful over there, and their practical application is adopted by Indian economy also. In today's world, we are using these principles of management for the betterment of our business activities. Now, after discussing the evolution of different management principles, now the chapter is divided into different 3 parts. First part is about the Frederick Winslow Taylor's principles of scientific management. As we have discussed in classical theory that different authors, and basically Frederick Winslow Taylor, Henry Fayol and Max Weber has contributed in the classical thoughts of economics and classical thoughts of management. So today we are going to discuss about the Frederick Winslow Taylor's principles of scientific management. In there, initially we will discuss about the important characteristics or the knowledge regarding the Frederick Winslow Taylor, that which are their contribution in the field of principles of management. Then we are going to discuss about the meaning of scientific management, then definition, and lastly the matters that are considered in scientific management. After discussing this point, we will move forward. The principles given by Frederick Winslow Taylor, that are the 8 different principles given by Frederick Winslow Taylor for the betterment of business activities. Then we will study the time study and motion study and differential rate study under the same head. And lastly, we will discuss that how the different business activities are divided into different heads by this Frederick Winslow Taylor. So this topic includes the basic concepts and introduction, then meaning of scientific management, definition of scientific management, and then matters considered in scientific management, and then we will discuss about the principles given by the Frederick Winslow Taylor, that is the principles of scientific management, and then techniques of scientific management, and lastly we will discuss about the activities of different business is divided into different parts. After completing this topic, we will move forward the principles given by Henry Fayol. General principles, that is 14 different general principles are given by Henry Fayol for the principles of management, and lastly we will discuss about the contribution of Peter and Drucker into the field of principles of management. Let us start today's topic. It is in your page number 21 of your textbook, point number 2.3, that is Frederick Winslow Taylor's principle of scientific management, as I have mentioned over here. Different kind of questions or different type of questions are asked from this particular topic. First of all, they may ask you that who is the Frederick Winslow Taylor, or why, or which other name he is also known as, and like different questions. So in first paragraph, Frederick Winslow Taylor was American mechanical engineer. So whenever it is asked in your exam that who is Frederick Winslow Taylor or F.W. Taylor, then you have to write that Frederick Winslow Taylor is an American mechanical engineer and an important contributor in classical thoughts, which I have mentioned over here. You have to remember all these points. I suggest you or I request you that whenever you are learning through this video lectures, some of the important instruments you have to keep ready with you, like textbook, your fair or rough book, and one pen and pencil. Pencil is required for the marking purpose in the textbook. Whenever or wherever there is important point which are mentioned in the textbook, you have to mark it with the pencil so that in future you can make correction in it. But whatever discussed in the class, and you have to mention or you have to write in your textbook, in your fair book. So whenever you require to make any kind of revision from that particular topic, it will become very easy for you to remember all these points from your concept book itself. It will helpful in getting a better result. So first of all, first question is who is Frederick Winslow Taylor? So our answer is he is an American mechanical engineer and an important contributor to classical thoughts. Secondly, in the starting phase, means in the starting phase when he has completed his studies, he joined as apprentice in a factory. Apprentice is one kind of helper who is helping to the main activity of business organization. So in the initial years, F.W. Taylor has worked as an apprentice in a factory. After contributing in various companies, it means after changing or from one company to another company, he became a manager in Bethlehem Steel Company. So at last, after struggling for some more years, he became a manager in a Bethlehem Steel Company. During this period, means that during the period or between the period from apprentice to manager, F.W. Taylor for the first time presented principles of scientific management, and hence he is known as the father of scientific management. Sometimes the question is asked in your exam like who is termed as the father of scientific management, or Frederick Taylor is known with which another name. So you have to mention that he is also known as the father of scientific management. So during the working era or during the working experience, he has contributed in the principles of management, where he has evolved some of the different principles, and that's why. And after giving these principles as a scientific management principle, he became the father of scientific management. Now, second paragraph. In any business unit, normally two classes are important. So, in any of the business, two classes of people are exist. First one is our owners, and second one is employees or workers. So, here employees or workers are saying. Workers are all those who are working on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and basically they are dealing with the physical works are known as workers. While employees are full-time fixed workers who are working for the salary purpose. So owner means here what is the meaning of owner? Owner means managers whose main purpose is optimization of profit and wealth. So here the owners means the manager who is managing the organization, means either he is the CEO or MD or from the board of directors, whose main purpose or whose main goal is to optimization. It means to maximization of profit and wealth of the organization. While employees or workers are interested in higher wages and job satisfaction. So by this way, the working of an organization is running very smoothly, where owners is giving some kind of target to the employees. If employees fulfilling these targets, then they will become able to getting a higher wages, that is more salaries, and the job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is one kind of notion of mind, in which the person is able to relate himself with the working condition of an organization. Job satisfaction is achieved through two ways. First one is through the financial incentives. It means through salary, commission, bonus, etc. And secondly, through the recognition and reward. It means by the way of providing them recognition, by providing them promotion, transfer, etc. So here the main goal of employees is to higher wages and job satisfaction. By this way, the purpose of owner and employees are coincide, where owners requires more productivity while workers require higher wages. If workers are delivering the higher productivity or they are making more number of units in the organization, then the owner's goal of profit maximization and wealth maximization is achieved. But simultaneously, the goal of employees or workers for the higher wages and job satisfaction also achieved. So in any of the business organization, whether it is small or a big, there is a two class of people. First one is the owners and second one is the workers or employees. As a result, it means when there is a two class of people, as a result, conflict arises. Sometimes it may happen that they are not coming into a concession of any kind of perfect decision making. Means they are not agree with each other, and that's why the conflict arises in maintaining harmony. It means to maintaining smoothness between two class or two groups of people. So it may happen that every time when owners is saying something or he is targeting something, employees are not supporting. They are focusing on indisciplinary activities. And sometimes it may happen that when employees are giving some kind of suggestions to the owners, they are not taking care of their suggestion, and that's why there will be the conflict between these two class of people, which will result into the strikes and lockdowns in the factory premises. So Frederick Taylor challenged this traditional method. Due to these two class of people and between their conflict, Frederick Taylor challenged this traditional method and started to develop new method, which method is known as scientific management method. So in traditional time or in the initial period of time, there were rule of thumb was prevailing. You have to mention and remember this word rule of thumb because it may be asked in 2 marks. Asked for 2 marks in your examination. So what is rule of thumb? So here the last line of this page is given as workers were asked to do work as per order. It means workers were asked to do work as per order and not by themselves. It means whenever there is some kind of orders or suggestions or some kind of targets given by owners, there is no voice of workers in management. They have to work according to the orders and instructions given by the owners in the business organization. And that is called the rule of thumb in traditional method. That what is rule of thumb? So workers were asked to do work as per order and they have no voice in management. This is called rule of thumb. Turn the page. Dominance of owners increased because now the owners are able to rule the whole factory premises or whole organization through their orders and instructions. This time Taylor presented new concept. So for challenging this rule of thumb, Taylor has presented the new concepts with scientific approach instead of rule of thumb. So he has challenged this traditional method of rule of thumb and he has put forward the scientific method which is known as scientific management of Patrick Taylor. Now let us move forward. Point number 2.3.1, that is meaning of scientific management. Yet we have discussed about the rule of thumb which is a part of a traditional method. Now we are going to discuss about the scientific management. That what is scientific management and how it is works. So first of all, let us understand the meaning of scientific management. Scientific management is a mental revolution on the part of a particular unit of employees in a factory. So here I have mentioned that scientific management is a mental revolution. It means you have to break down all your traditional orthodox behavior and your decision making process. And it is totally mental revolution. It means to rebuilding a totally new thoughts and totally new decision making power. That is mental revolution on the part of a particular units of employees. It means there should be the mental revolution through the organization. It means the mental revolution between owners and employees itself. Totally new rethinking and new rebuilding of a business activities is called mental revolution. So scientific management is a mental revolution on the part of particular unit of employees in a factory. It's a totally mental revolution towards their task. It means the tasks are also changed. Here I have mentioned in a black ink, that is the mental revolution towards task. Task means the activities which are performed by the employees in business organization. Mental revolution means now they are able to understand their importance and their task important in the business organization and contribution in the profit of the organization. Mental revolution towards the duties. Duties is different than task. It is compulsion while it is voluntarily which all of the employees have to perform. Mental revolution towards the colleagues. It means there should be proper harmony between the works and employees and workers are coming together or they meet each other for achievement of business objective. And lastly, mental revolution towards owners, so that the conflict between the owners and employees can be reduced and removed. So here the meaning is completed. Now next one is the definition of scientific management. Whenever it is asked in your examination that what is scientific management, it will be asked for 2 marks only. So you have to mention the definition and not the meaning. Meaning will be useful in the 3 marks or 5 mark questions. So you have to remember both of this But whenever it is asked that what is mental evolution, you have to mention the meaning, or sorry, you have to mention the definition of scientific management. Now definition: Taylor defined scientific management as knowing exactly what you want your men to do. What does it mean? Knowing exactly what you want your men to do. It means the scientific management means instead of giving a general instruction or a general target to each and every employee, you have to focus on the workers or on the employees, single or personal. So here you have to knowing exactly what you want, means what kind of work you want to do or what kind of work you want to achieve from your employees. Your men means your employees and workers, and then see to it. Once you appoint a task, a duty or work to the particular employee, and if you left him alone, then they will never work. But here, first of all, you have to know exactly what you want. Then secondly, then see to it that they do it in a best. It means they are running on a best industry practices and cheapest way. It means it will be economical too. It means there will be very less cost associated with this particular task or particular activity. So again, Taylor defined scientific management as knowing exactly what you want your men to do and then see to it that they do it in the best and the cheapest way. Next paragraph. Since Frederick Taylor himself was an engineer, as we have mentioned over here that he was a mechanical engineer. So it may happen that in the initial years of working, he will be working in a factory as a worker or as an employee who is engaged in a physical work, and that's why he finds some of the difficulties and problems in his working methods or in his working style. So since the Frederick Taylor himself was an engineer, he found that till workers will not get higher and motivated wage rate, they will not work efficiently. It means during the working time, he found out that if the worker will not get higher and motivated wage rate, here I have mentioned that workers are motivated through two ways, financial and non-financial. But basically, the maximum contribution that you want from the worker will be getting by the way of financial incentives. And it is found out by the Frederick Taylor that will not get higher and motivated wage rate. It is not the only higher wage rate but motivated wage rate. It means something greater than their expectation. They will not work efficiently in whatever condition, whether you are providing a proper working condition or not. But if they are not getting a proper wage rate and a motivated wage rate, they will not work efficiently. So it means if you want to get a higher productivity from the employees, you should provide them proper and motivated wage rate. Without getting work done in the traditional way, to get higher productivity, scientific methods should be used to have lower production cost. Next one is that without getting work done in the traditional way. So by this way, if the workers are not able to get higher and motivated wage rate, they will not work efficiently. And by this way, the targets or the productivity of the organization will decrease. So without getting work done in the traditional way, to get higher productivity, now in the new and modern method of scientific management, for getting higher productivity, scientific methods should be used to have lower production cost. So it will be beneficial in both. It will increase the productivity of an organization and simultaneously it will reduce the production cost. As managers do not lower wage rate and employees may not work. As means in new method, The manager do not lower wage rate because now the manager are able to understand that people or workers are motivated through the wage rate only, and if they will reduce it, then workers will not work. So as manager do not lower wage rate, an employee may not work. He suggested adopting scientific approach. So that he suggested the scientific management approaches for getting the maximum productivity from the employees, and his suggestions, or we can say the matters which are considered in scientific management, is given below. As a challenge to traditional approach, means as a challenge to this rule of thumb and traditional approach, he has presented scientific management as a revolutionary thought. So in that time period, it is means before 19th century or during the 19th century, the scientific management principles adopted by Frederick Taylor was a newer and latest concept, where below stated matters were considered, where these three matters are considered for getting the higher productivity from the employees. First one, each worker should be assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. First matter or first suggestion given by this Frederick Taylor is that here one point I have to mention is that he has focused on financial incentives more. It means he is in a favor to provide more financial incentive and getting more work from these employees. First one is each worker should be assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. Whether it is divided on a age group or on educational qualification or on a part or position of an employee. It means each worker should be assigned work as per his mental and physical ability. If the workers are working in a factory, there will be highest level of physical ability. And due to normal human behavior, we all know that maximum 8 hours is more than enough for working. It means if the employees are indulged in working for more than 8 hours a day, they will not give any kind of productive work. So as per the class of people, if they are engaged in the mental activities, that is, if they are engaged in a top level and middle level, then also, and if they are engaged in a bottom level, then also the workers should be assigned maximum work. Here the word maximum is implied that maximum work as per his mental and physical ability and not more than that. This is the first suggestion given by the Frederick Taylor. Second suggestion, each worker should be instructed to perform maximum work as per category. Now here we have categorized the different activities in first part, and above means from that category we have decided the mental and physical ability. So from this category, if say for example, if the worker is in the bottom level management and he has to work in a factory itself, or he is indulged in a physical work. So as per his category, minimum 8 hours working is required, and during these 8 hours, the productivity per labor is decided. Like each and every employee has to complete or finish or to produce minimum 10 units in 8 hours. So that is the maximum work as per category. So here each and every worker is instructed to produce minimum 10 units as per the category of the particular worker. Done. Third one and last one, each worker doing efficient work rapidly. Each worker doing efficient work rapidly should be paid more wages. It means in last session, in last point we have discussed that according to category minimum 10 units he has to produce. What if the worker is more efficient and produce more than this? Then each worker doing efficient work rapidly. It means those who surpass this target and produces more, then they should be paid more wages. If this worker surpasses the target and produces more, then they should be able to get more wages, that is the wages from 30% to 100% of their routine wages. And this 30% to 100% is given as an incentive above their salary. It means these incentives are provided plus with salary plus these incentives. So here in these three suggestions, first suggestion, there should be some kind of category regarding the mental and physical ability of a work. After providing or after dividing as per this category, second, they are instructed to perform maximum work as per their category. And if any of the worker is able to produce more than the work assigned to him as per his category, then they will be provided with more wages between 30% to 100%. So here we are concluding today's session, in which we have discussed about the basic introduction of Frederick Winslow Taylor, then two business classes, then rule of thumb, then here meaning of scientific management, then definition of scientific management, and lastly the methods or suggestions given by Frederick Winslow Taylor to remove the traditional method or to implement the scientific management. From next lecture onwards, we are going to discuss about the principles of management given by Frederick Winslow Taylor. I hope you are working on your own and every day you are preparing your fair book as per instruction of your class teacher. Thank you very much, class.